If you have felt invisible your entire life, then this message is for you. And if you found me, then you're probably one of the few, since I have felt super invisible as well. So surprise, you're very special. If you can see me, if you can hear me, I think you're special. And I see you and I hear you, and welcome. So last night I had got I got woke up in the middle of the night, like I do very, very, very frequently when something needs to come through. And it was right on time. And so this is what I wrote down. And mind you, it's not great, but let me just go ahead and read it for you. It says, I wrote down, since no one can see me, I am free. Invisibility is freedom. Under the radar is low key a flex. Not micromanaged by anyone, but able to fulfill my own desires without conditions or rules. How much fun can I have with this? Unhinged. So that's a reminder for me to be a little bit more unhinged, because if nobody's going to see me, hear me, listen to me anyway, I might as well do whatever I want, right? I'm going to start back from the beginning. Since no one can see me, I am free. I have been carrying around, and maybe you have too, just this pain and this wound of not feeling heard, seen. Everything I try, it gets no traction. I'm like speaking out into the void. I'm like, what on oh my gosh, like on SpongeBob, whenever Squidward was in that room, I don't know what episode that was, like when they were from the future or going back to the past or something like that, and he was in that room and he was like, alone, 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 alone. All he had was his own voice giving him alone back. Wow, I don't know why that came up, but like, that's how I felt. And I know that's how some of you have felt as well, especially if you clicked on this video. And it feels super painful. And some people don't understand how it's like, well, you're in the room, right? People clearly see you. They say hello, you say hello. But also at the same time, you can go in and out of a room, but no one will really, they won't notice. And it's the crazy part is, like, they won't notice you, but at the same time, they feel you. Like, it's a really interesting thing that screws with my head and yours as well, when it's like, how powerful you are. You know how strong your voice is. You know how powerful your presence is. And like, you change the space, like, you carry all that power within you. But then for some reason, either people are pretending that they don't see you, they don't want to listen, they pretend like they hear you, or, for some reason, it seems like you're trying out a business and you're posting and it's like silence, crickets. It's like, oh, the algorithm don't push you. It's like, do you want me to be out here for real? Like, what's going on to where I feel like it's almost like a shield? And it felt like, and I'm kind of complaining, but I'm kind of like, hey, because it's what I had to get back into. It's like, it's not, I don't want us to hold on to that pain of being and feeling invisible in the spaces where you really want to be seen. Like, you have all this power, but it's just not working. But sometimes you're seeing plenty and it's Gucci, but like, sometimes in the places you really want to just shine and be out there and you're ready, and it's just not happening. It's almost like you have a cloak of invisibility on, right? And so I wrote down what cloak meant. And so cloak is an outer garment worn over other clothes that serve to cover and protect the body. So protection, number one. I think seeing invisibility as protection, some strange way. It's kind of like rejection is protection. And it's kind of the same way, because think about how many ideas these days. I'm kind of going on a tangent, but that's okay, because at this point, I don't really know if anybody's going to watch this anyway, depending on looking at the trajectory of what's going on. That's why I say, if you're watching and listening, look, you might be one of the few, or unless it suddenly goes viral because I finally released and let it go and just be my authentic self. But hopefully we'll get there. And let me write this down, actually, so I don't forget, like the ability to now release. I'm pretty sure I wrote it in my notes, to release and have fun and be authentic. And now, of course, I lost my train of thought, but It's like protection. When you're doing all these things, trying and failing, and nobody's watching you try and fail, like, that's kind of a good thing, right? We want to look at things from a different perspective, which is what we're trying to do right now. Is invisibility can be a blessing because you're doing all these things and it's not like a monumental thing. If you try one thing and then you decide to pivot and you decide to pivot 1,500 times, it's okay because nobody's seen you anyway. I'm kind of making light of it and making fun of it because it's really what you have to do when you can either look at it as a burden and painful, or you can just turn it around in your brain and be like, you know what? Being invisible is actually not too bad. There's actually some fun we can have with this. I'm actually really thankful that I've been able to pivot 15 times and nobody really cared. Nobody was paying attention anyway. And I can do this back and forth until I'm sure. There's also in social media these days where people get their ideas stolen so fast and it doesn't get the credit where the credit is due. Imagine you building something in silence. Not only are you silent, but you're building it and nobody sees it. So it kind of just builds up on its own. So suddenly you have like this whole repertoire of like whatever you're doing. For me, it's videos where you're solidifying your content, your identity. And maybe it's this really unique idea that, you know, if somebody else were to catch wind of it, they would take it and you would be overshadowed. If nobody gets to see it and you're basically building up your proof for yourself and anybody who then comes along later on, it won't be a question who started this. It will be you started it, because look at how much you've done. You've been working on this for 2 years and nobody ever saw it. Look at how much proof I have about that I've started this and this was my idea, and now you know who the real OG is. Okay, so I'm just saying that might be something, if you're struggling with invisibility, something you could think about. Like, you know what? Heck yeah. Not only I'm protected and I can switcheroo without any pressure, right? Without nobody really on my back, without nobody saying, hey, you supposed to be doing this, that, and the third. Like, you know how much pressure that is to be stuck in a box immediately upon starting something where you're still trying to get your footing. And then imagine they say like, that's why it's not that great to go viral. Yeah. Because if you end up going viral on something that you actually don't love, you're kind of stuck in it and you basically have to start over anyway. So that's like short-term fame. But the point is, you're still kind of free to maneuver and figure out. And if you feel like you got it figured out, this is your time to build it really strongly, build those roots super strong, build that foundation really strong, so nobody, not even yourself, can talk you out of it a year or two later. You're like, no, I've been doing this. Go back. It's been since 2023. I've been doing this, and nobody can come through now. Once you do get that exposure, once you do become visible, nobody can really knock you off your pedestal or off your foundation because it's so strong, because you were able to do it kind of with this cloak of invisibility on, where you were able to build this foundation without anybody really peeping your game. Okay. So being invisible is almost like a superpower. When we ask people, what superpower do you want? Do you know some people do say, I want to be invisible. I want to be invisible. So I can see, so I can hear, so I can peep things, so I can do things on the slide without nobody really noticing. Now, I know you would never do anything wrong or dangerous or harmful. Now, usually, would you ever do something good with your invisibility powers? I know that's kind of like, it's kind of reminding me of like when people say, I did a good deed, and you're not supposed to like video it or take footage of it because you're supposed to do it out of kindness of your heart. Yeah, I hear you, but our egos make us want to, like, when we do something good, we want to be seen doing good. So, you know what? But regardless, invisibility is a superpower because you get to go be a part of rooms and spaces where people aren't really taking you too seriously. They're not really peeping you like that. And you're getting to watch, to listen, to see people's motives. And they're like very unsuspecting of you because in their mind, they're nothing. They're nobody. I'm not really paying attention to them. I hear somebody talking, but I'm not taking it in. So in that same idea, and I know it can be sucky, but it's almost like you can be a fly on the wall. Even though it's like, of course, physically, you're not a fly on the wall. But you can kind of hold that energy where you're just sneaking in, you're listening, you're watching, you're taking ideas, you're taking cues, you're listening to people, what they have to say, you're peeping people, and you can kind of just move right on out. This song that's playing right now is called By Myself. Me, myself, and I, that's all I got in the end. That's what I found out. That's not really the point, though. It does feel very lonely, I will say. And I didn't mean to mention, like, the first songs that were playing, the two first songs in this playlist is called, and it's weird, but it's on this YouTube audio playlist. It's called Good for the Ghost, number 1. And the second one, I kid you not, y'all, and I took a picture of it already, but it's called Make the Visible Invisible. And I didn't look this playlist up. This was what was up when I came into the audio library. So I'm like, okay, well, period. And that is my confirmation right there. So cloak, to hide or conceal. And I feel like we've been given the superpower of being hidden and concealed for whatever reason. And if we want to think about it as protection, as the ability to find our footing without anybody really being on our back, then that is something that you can take with you right now and be like, you know what? It's okay that nobody sees or hears me. Okay. And we'll get to more reason why that's a good thing. So the other one was cloak of invisibility. And so I looked it up, and what it means, or one of the terms with it, is a magical item worn by a hero to fulfill a request. So it's almost like, okay, well, we the heroes then, and we're supposed to be fulfilling this request, and we don't really know what the request is or what we're here to do. If you believe in having a single purpose, maybe not, but regardless, I think it was interesting because it's like, well, the other way is, or the other definition was like a magical item worn by like somebody evil doing something evil, but I ain't take that part, of course. But worn by a hero to fulfill a request, of course. There's something here you're meant to do, but you have to have this cloak of invisibility. Like it can't get done unless you're unseen, unless you're getting by unseen. And I kind of think that's kind of interesting. I think it's kind of fun, low key, now that I'm looking at it this way, because it's like, what am I supposed to be peeping on the side, on the slide? Fly on the wall type of thing, and gathering and building, and like, so you can just, sometimes you got to pop out and show them, right? You didn't know I was coming. You didn't even know I was here. I was invisible to you, and it sucked, but I understand why. Now, of course, I don't understand why. You might still not understand why, but I think that's still an interesting point. And I know I'm talking really fast, so I apologize, but at the same time, whatever. Let me be me. Okay, so the second point that I wrote down was invisibility is freedom. And I am going to change this song because it's actually a little bit distracting. The next one's called Down the Rabbit Hole. Ooh, the one after that is called Claim to Fame, y'all. I'm letting these songs speak. I'm bringing them a little closer. Hopefully it's not too distracting, but invisibility is freedom. I'm trying to think about what I meant by that. Whenever let's say you post something and or I think I can only really relate this to social media. I'm trying to think of any other way. I guess just in general, you know, if you had the superpower of invisibility, you would be kind of free to do kind of the most crazy things, like in public or just in general, that people would usually kind of judge you for. And it's like, well, if nobody can see you, what all can you do? The possibilities are a little bit more endless without this judgment at the same time. So freedom from judgment, freedom from I want to say execution. I mean execution, like being executed, like being found out. Hopefully that makes sense. But freedom from, I'm going to use in my perspective or just my situation, if you can't see me, you don't hear me, you never watch. If nobody ever watches anything, I'm free to do what I want. I can sing, I can play copyright music, cause whatever. I can come on the camera, off the camera. Shoot, I can doggone put up whatever on the thumbnail. Like, I just might do that just because I can, because who's gonna see it anyway? You know what I mean? So it's that energy of like, oh, if nobody's gonna see it, then I might as well go all out. I'm as free to do whatever I want. Just like no rules. Within reason, of course. I'm not saying do anything criminal. Within whatever realm we're talking about, the bounds and limits don't exist all of a sudden, because guess what? I was operating with fake rules and structure anyway. And now I'm realizing, oh, well, if nobody's going to watch or listen, and I'm not complaining, I promise you, because I've already done a video where it's like, oh, no one can hear me. So I've already complained about this before. But now this is just a whole new and more enlightened perspective. And it may or may not be right, but whatever at this point. This is me and my healing. And if you're still here with me, cool. But the freedom to kind of release all the expectations, all the standards, all the requirements that I thought I had to do, kind of all of that falls away when I kind of bask in the energy of, wait a minute, if nobody's going to check me, if nobody's going to say anything in these comments, if nobody's even going to see it, if the algorithm's not going to push it, if every time I post on the community tab, it's just crickets, then I can just say whatever's on my heart and speak whatever's on my mind. And I don't have to follow any rules that I thought I had to follow. I can actually be my most authentic self. And that feels really good. That feels really freeing. And that means I can yap for doggone an hour, and I just might, because at this point, whatever. Claim to fame. That's the song. That might just be the way you get there. Because you know how the famous people are the ones who are just most unhinged. Like, they do things like nobody's watching. When they say, oh, like sing in the shower, dance like nobody's watching. That kind of energy right there, that free, authentic, like no rules type of vibe is what's super magnetic. And I feel like that's the point that I've been guided to see, that, hey, well, since there's nobody judging and the only person judging is me, myself, and I, guess what? All the rules and expectations are out the window. And I love it, because I've been following rules and expectations my whole life. I've been going based off the standards and the guidelines of everybody my whole life. And it's like, well, hold up. Nobody's appreciating me when I do it, and nobody's clocking me when I don't. I'm kind of shuffling in and out of people's energy and worlds and rooms. And sometimes I know people can feel me, but they don't see me, and they don't hear me, but they don't understand me. So I might as well just say whatever, do whatever, however I want, and yap for 30 minutes. Who cares? Who cares? It's really a who cares energy. I know, that's right. I want to change this whole group of songs. I don't like none of this. Let me see if I can change the genre. Let me see. Can y'all hear it? Sound crazy. Let me go to a different genre. Genres are a funny thing, aren't they? Let's go to ambient. Okay. This might be way too soft. Changing the vibe, mood. Let's do like bright and happy. All right, this is kind of nice, so we'll let this play. All right. let's see what else is on my list. Hopefully I finished that thought. So invisibility is freedom. Under the radar is low-key a flex. Because who can really say that they have a cloak of invisibility where it's like I can move in and out of rooms and I can go unnoticed. I guess that kind of only feels like a cool thing. If you're talking about like in person, if you feel invisible, like as a human being out in the world. But like being under the radar can kind of goes back to like that protection thing. Because imagine if like people are out looking for like your kind or you, or you have like a natural target on your back, right? For whatever reason, if this relates to you. And let's just say like your people have a target on their backs, but you've been sort of able to dip and dodge your whole life and kind of almost avoid getting caught, getting seen, getting recognized. That might be good for when you famous, right? You know how famous people want to be able to go out without being seen. They want to be able to fly under the radar. Like, I wonder if this is like a skill set or just a natural thing that you have or that we have, because in the future you're going to wish you had it, and you do have it. Like, you're going to be so well known and famous that you're going to wish, and I'm not saying a lot of people wish they can just fly under the radar. You know what I mean? They wish they can like live a normal life. And I know at this moment it feels like, well, no, I want to be seen. I want to be known. Like, I don't want to hide. But I feel like one day that's going to be like one of the biggest blessings, to be able to do something without your name automatically being attached, without everybody bum rushing you, without everybody coming up for your autograph, like without everybody asking you for a picture. Like, I don't know why I'm going there in my vision. I think it's the music kind of getting me. Like, you get to camouflage and you kind of get to stay out of like the gossip, and you get to stay out of the trouble. Like, if somebody's, a group of people are looking for a group of people, like, you will blend right into another group of people and not be seen and noticed. Like, that's a I'm gonna say it's cool at the very least. But there's a sort of protection about it where like there's some things you don't have to worry about, because you kind of get through things unscathed. But even think about like, it's time for, let's make it more practical, right? Let's say, okay, you have lunch break, and it's a strict lunch break where you have from 12:30 to 1 o'clock, 30 minutes. Now let's say 12 to 1. Let's make it more like an hour. And there's some people who are like, if they're 1 minute late, somehow their boss is out there right there and caught them like, oh my gosh, why are you late? Blah, blah, blah. Like, they can't get away with nothing because like there's a target on their back. It's like as soon as they come back in and they're 2 minutes late, they got. Whereas you can dip out 2 minutes early and come back 5 minutes late and nobody knew you were even gone. That does suck. I do agree. It's like, dang, y'all didn't even notice I was gone. But like, if we're trying to change our perspective, it's like, I can kind of get away with, doing what somebody else can't do. It's a flex. I'm under the radar. Nobody ever noticed that I'm gone, and I can not take advantage, because that don't sound right. But it's low-key a blessing to know like, oh, I didn't get marked down for tardies. And then you don't even remember my name. And you thought I was somebody else. Crazy. But haha, that's the cloak of invisibility. That's that protection I got on me. You thought I was at my desk, but I wasn't. Actually, I was still in line at Taco Bell. Think about it. I think I am going to let I spent about 24 minutes. So let's keep going. Yeah, it's getting late. It's 9:09 right now. What else did I say? Not micromanaged by anyone, but able to fulfill my own desires without conditions or rules. Kind of what I was talking about with the whole coming back late for lunch, and being micromanaged sucks. But if you weren't really there, I don't know how I want to even explain this. When I'm trying to say, have you ever met somebody who was kind of always getting in trouble? Not even getting in trouble, but was always, let's say you're an employee and a boss is always coming up to employee number one because they always notice them, or they're popular. Let's say that they're popular. The boss is always literally hey, how's it going? Are you done with this? Are you done with that? How's this project going? Are you done? Blah, blah, blah. Can you do this? Can you do that? Is that a real thing? I'm trying to think back to one of my experiences. I don't know if I have something like that. But I hate being micromanaged, that's for sure. And I feel like if you was always on somebody's radar, it would be almost annoying. Can you pretend I'm not here and stop asking me to do so much? Oh, man. But it's kind of when you're left up to your own devices to do something. I'm able to fulfill my own desires without conditions or rules. Okay, so I kind of want to take this back to this kind of not fake micromanage, but how I was saying earlier, how you can do things without this pressure, the societal pressure. So let's say you have a project, you have something going, and you have to literally, let's say you start getting a following and they're expecting a certain thing from you. They're expecting you to post a certain time every day. They're expecting this type of content. They're expecting this, that, and the third. And even though there's not a contract, a written agreement, you're kind of managed by your followers. You're managed by whoever your team is. You're managed by the people that are watching you. And so if you're invisible, it's when nobody's really saying anything to you, you can really just do what you want, the way you want it, at the pace you want to do it at, without any push and pull from anybody, without any disagreements. We don't got to collaborate and do no teamwork. Ain't worried about it. Nope, sure ain't. That's kind of freeing. Now, of course, that's not really the way to operate forever. But if that so happens to be the case, or at this moment, I would enjoy that phase where there's nobody in your ear trying to pressure you or tell you or micromanage how you do certain things. You can still do it however you want to do it, at the pace you want to do it, and that's freeing. Okay. So the last thing, I don't like this sound. This fourth song is called Society's Dream. Let's play it. I was just talking about society. Oh yeah, society would love to make you do what you want them to do. Anyway, I'm sitting here. Okay, last thing is, how much fun can I have with this? How much fun? That's a little loud. Ugh. Do I like that sound? I'm gonna turn this way. Let me try to focus in. How much fun, or let me try to have a little bit more fun. How much fun can I have with this? How unhinged have you not allowed yourself to be? Have you been holding back any out of trying to be I gotta follow these rules. I gotta do what's quote unquote right. Even if you don't care if it's right or not, following other people's morals. Where have you been holding yourself back? In the fun department, in the freedom department, in the letting loose department, And is that more in alignment? Is more fun, more free? Is that more in alignment with you? Are you actually unhinged, but you've been trying to be, the proper, the respectful, the politically correct. You've been trying to make sure your speech was great. You've been making sure you've been trying to keep it under 20 minutes. I'm making sure that my PDFs and my bundles had the correct amount of pages in the book, and I was trying to make sure blah blah blah, and I wanted the font to be 12 point font Times New Romans because that's what I'm supposed to do. Imagine if you say, you know what? The pamphlet I'm going to make, the little course I'm going to make, we're going to have fun with it. We're not going to do it the same way, the same boring way that I've been doing it. I'm going to be unhinged because nobody's going to look at it anyway. If I don't care about who'll buy it, speaking of, a little shameless plug, and hopefully I remember to put this in the description box because at this point, I'm just going to do it. How unhinged can I be? There is a product that I'm trying, and even the price is unhinged because I said screw it, right? And it is going to be on the website called Buy Me a Copy, and it's already up, and it is a channeled soul letter. And so you would ask your question or put your theme, and the intention is for me to pull some cards and for me to basically write out what you need to hear based on that theme or that question. It's basically from the universe, from God to you, and channeled through me. And it's kind of be like, hey, I know you've been feeling invisible. I know it's been painful and tough to be unseen, unheard for your whole life. I know that you feel the pain of it every day as you're trying to succeed and you're trying to do better and you're trying to show the world your gifts and you're trying to help other people. But everything you do seems to not land. It seems to not stick. Nobody seems to hear you. Nothing seems to get traction. But I'm here to tell you that your invisibility is a gift. Your cloak of invisibility is protection. It allows you to build your foundation in silence and peace. It allows you to have fun and be authentic. It allows you to go in and out of spaces and rooms and get the ideas without being seen. It allows you to escape unharmed. That's what your invisibility does. And that has been painful, I know, but I want you to see it as a blessing. I want you to see it as a gift, and I want you to take charge in your own life and do what you want to do. Do it how you want to do it. And if you're letting the lack of being seen stop you, then I'm here to tell you you're not ready for the fame anyway. You're not ready for the bigness anyway, because this energy of doing what you want to do, how you want to do it when you're invisible, is the same energy you're going to need when you get to where you're going. When you get to where you're going, you're going to have the same audacity. And that will be in the channel soul letter. So if you want to get one, go ahead and purchase it. Down in the description box, it'll take you to the link. I hope you like that. I might need to put this in the beginning. You know what I mean? I was in my bag with that one. This song got me feeling like we in Arabia somewhere. A whole new world. Ooh, I had my eyes closed. I was, right. So, because I'm going to put that in the description box. If you can afford it, go ahead. I'm going to go ahead and claim it now, but that's a service. And that's a service I would love to do. And the thing is, once I get the message with the cards, I basically type it all out, and it's usually going to be a page because I feel like I'm a good writer and I love to write. I feel like channel messages flow through me, through my fingers. And so it would be a very, very beautiful love letter or whatever, a letter to you, a soul letter to you. And I'm thinking about maybe adding like an audio piece to it as well, so you can also listen to it whenever you want to instead of read it. But let me know for sure. Give me some feedback if that's something that I should add to it. At this moment, it's just going to be written. And since it does take a lot of time to like get the cards and sit with it and write it out, that can take a couple hours. So it's not just as simple as like, yapping about the cards for, 20 minutes. So I think I know I priced myself fairly, and it is what it is. So, and I'm daring myself to put it down there because I've been hesitating because it felt like, it wasn't the right time. I need to go ahead and have more subscribers. Like, who hears me anyway? Like, I don't have any authority built up. Screw all that. If nobody's going to watch and listen anyway, if nobody's going to click anyway, I might as well put it down there. Like, what's the harm? What's the harm? And there ain't no harm. I'm having my fun and I'm being authentic and I'm putting myself out there because that's the type of energy that that audacity that people who are invisible have. Now, I don't know why I want to bring this up and I don't even know what I'm going to say about it, but since we're here yapping and I'm not going anywhere, and if you're still here, cool. But if you was never here in the first place, then I guess it really don't matter. I'm gonna stop complaining about it because I'm really trying to like hone in on this energy of like, oh wait, this is a good thing. Like I'm free. Oh my gosh, I'm free. Like I'm not hold on to that wound and pain of like, oh my gosh, I keep trying to do my best and putting it out there. And it's like, why can't you see me? I don't belong here. Like, anyway, I'm gonna let it go. But this is healing. This is real healing when you're kind of going back and forth with like knowing what's right and what you should feel versus what you actually feel. And sometimes we just gotta express it and let it out and vent about it because like sometimes that is the healing. And for anybody to say like it's all light and love and you just gotta journal and forgive and blah blah blah. No, that's not real. That's not realistic. Sometimes you go back and forth with yourself and sometimes you just complain and argue and vent and let it out and go back and forth and still feel angry and still feel pain and still then tomorrow I might wake up and say, why am I not getting any views on my videos? I might still say that and that's okay. It's a work in progress. But I know if you felt invisible, you've been back and forth with this your whole life and you think by this point you should feel okay by now. But I'm telling you, there's nothing like the pain of doing your best and not getting credit for it. There's nothing like a pain of not being seen and recognized, even though you know what you have, the value of yourself, you're confident, everything that and it's just like, why God, why universe? And you have to trust that it's for a reason, but it's like, I don't see the reason. Cardi B said, what was the reason? I feel like I'm yelling in this mic, y'all, but like, good Lord, I'm just saying healing is not always pretty. And alienation still feels painful. And that's all I'm saying right now is I'm trying to change my mindset. And I'm trying to change my feelings and my vibes about this. And really trying to be okay with like, if nobody hears me, okay. Actually, this is a fantastic thing. It's to get me into my bag. It's for a reason, obviously. But anyways, I didn't lose train of thought. I do know where I was going with this. So there is a video game that has dropped, and I know video games on this channel, look, authentic. I like watching video game plays. I like video games, but it's a gameplay called Dispatch, and I think it has maybe 7 or 8 episodes, and there is a superhero / super villain, which is the crazy part is she was playing both. Oh, I'm not going to sit here and spoil it just in case you're a gamer too. But you should have watched it already because it's been out. But she's basically Invisigirl. And her powers are obviously invisibility. And she sometimes uses it. I don't know if I ever seen her use it for good. When she was fighting the bad guys. Of course, you use your invisibility powers. But she also used it for like eavesdropping. She used it for some evil as well. Sometimes she uses it just because she doesn't want to be seen being emotional. Ooh, sometimes we wish we was invisible whenever we have pain. Is that why I brought that up? Because when she was upset and angry, she would she would like turn invisible and like either rage out, pretend like she left, pretend like she slams the door and then like punches somebody in the face invisibly. And I'm kind of stuck on this emotional part where maybe something about our emotions and how I because sometimes people don't want to show their emotions, right? But at the same time, when you have an emotion, you want people to like see it and feel it. Like, you don't want your pain to be invisible. Kind of like this background music. Kind of sounds like a video game. What's this thing called? It's called Clean and Dance. That's funny. But I'm trying to think about what I want to say about her invisibility. Because like I said, she used it for good. She also used it for bad. She used it to eavesdrop. Like, be in conversations that people didn't know she was really good at being invisible until she like wanted to be seen. And then she oftentimes, but she also could turn invisible whenever like she was trapped in something. She could turn invisible and get loose. She could also, when she was mad, she turns invisible and she can storm out. Like, so nobody gets to see her emotions. Even though they feel her emotions, and like she can like physically still punch somebody. Could she? Yes. And it kind of makes me feel like you're felt regardless. Like, if what's that song from Beyonce? Oh, let me look it up. I think it's Two Hands to Heaven. Let me look it up real quick, because she says a verse like I come and I go and you will never see me, or something like that. Two hands to heaven. Oh, I don't want to play it though. Let me see these lyrics real quick, because that's how it kind of feels. Like you're felt no matter what. And if you're not felt, people can sense like you're over there or you're over there. And this is kind of getting like more spiritual. Like, people know when you've been in the room. People know when you are hurt. People know when you are in pain. Even if you're not in the same room as them, like, they can sense it, and you don't really have to say anything. And it kind of reminds me of like when people say they don't have one of the senses, then the other senses amplify. Ooh. And it's like when you take when they can't see you, they feel you 10 times stronger. Which is interesting, because I wonder if like me doing videos where I'm not on camera at all, like I wonder if like the voice is amplified. I wonder if your voice is supposed to be amplified since you felt invisible. Like, is there something you're supposed to be saying or singing or writing? Are you supposed to be like undercover cop? You know, because we said like the cloak of invisibility is worn by heroes to fulfill a request. And it's almost like undercover boss. It's almost like angel investors. It's almost like an angel that you don't know. People don't know you've touched their lives until it's too late, until you're gone. They were like, who was that? What was that? I sensed somebody. I sensed something. I know you were in the room. I know she was in the room. I know her energy was here. But I didn't see her. I didn't see him. But I feel her like 1 year later. I feel her energy. Your energy is felt in ways you don't even know, in ways they don't even know until they think back to a memory. Woo, hold up. Okay, 2 hands to heaven. It says, I'm a stallion running, no candle in the wind. I couldn't tell you what that means. You won't ever see me coming or going, but you'll know whenever I'm here. Dancing in the moonlight, catching every breeze. My feet on the dashboard. Now go really fast, boy. Okay, I don't know what all that meant. And maybe that's for somebody. But you will never see me coming or going, but you'll know whenever I'm here. Then I should say dancing in the moonlight, catching every breeze. The song that's playing is called Just Dance. And that goes with my final, thing I had was how much fun can I have with this? But I want you to have fun with the gift of invisibility. I want you to know that even if you're not seen at this very moment, you're felt. It ripples. The energy lingers in a room. And oftentimes you may not feel or hear the reward or the recognition because it's like it hits people like upside their head 10 days later. And they're like, I remember she said something like that. And at that point, it's way too late to say anything. But like then it gets ingrained into their hearts and they don't see your message or they don't see your product until like a year later when you had it up. And you've been promoting and you've been posting and it's like, hey, I'm sorry that I didn't see you before, but like, I needed to hear this right here, right now. And that could mean like 2 years after the fact. But the voice that you used then, like the creativity you used then had so much power at the time that you made it that it still affects them deeply when it's time for them to receive it. So your invisibility is not a curse. I don't want you to carry it like a wound. Your invisibility is protection. Your invisibility allows grace. Your invisibility is power. Your invisibility gives you so much strength and courage. Your invisibility allows you to do things that other people don't have the ability to do. Your invisibility is a ticket to your most authentic, free, fun self. What do you do now that you know that it doesn't matter? What do you do? The song that just came on is called The World's Fair. And I'm not saying like, oh, the world is fair. I didn't read it like that. I read it like, like you go to like a state fair. It's like everything is a playground. And the quote, the author of this, or whoever wrote it, whatever, it's called God mode. And this sounds very like technical. It almost feels very matrixy, the vibe. Almost like you're in this game where you press a button and you have the power of invisibility. You can make something happen, and look, at this point, let's have fun. Okay. I think that's everything I wanted to say. Trying to think if there's anything else. Nope. Okay. Now watch this video go viral. I'll see y'all later. Bye.